The Intuitive Wellness Cafe podcast is hosted by me, intuitive eating wellness coach Deanna Kozarov. My mission is to show women that health and wellness can be achieved without the pursuit of weight loss, counting calories, and spending hours in the gym punishing yourself. I am taking back health and wellness from diet culture and showing women that they don't have to succumb to diet culture standards to feel good in their body and find joy in life. I'll be coming on the podcast to talk about a variety of topics that will help you on your journey to food freedom, movement, and how to care for your body and life. It is my hope that by having this podcast, you will have the mental and emotional space freed up to enjoy life instead of constantly worrying and stressing over food and exercise, and live the life that you deserve. Let's get started. Welcome back to episode 2. Hope you are well and good. Today we are going to chat about what helped me stop binging, stop overeating on potato chips. And you can replace this with whatever food that you've deemed quote unquote bad or forbidden. Before I get into it, just want to remind you of my free resource I have for you called Making Peace with Your Plate Starter Guide. I will add the link to the show notes. In this guide, I show you how to start making peace with your plate in a very practical way so you can feel more ease and freedom with food. It also has quick wins that goes beyond the food. So be sure to grab that. And also, if you're currently experiencing an eating disorder, including binge eating disorder, or have a recent history of like an official eating disorder, I would skip this episode and refer back to your provider who is handling your eating disorder. And I do have to say that what I'm about to discuss is just one area when it comes to talking about binge eating, overeating. There is a lot more to it, of course, which I can get into future episodes. But for today, I just want to talk about one of these tools to help stop binging the foods that you have been restricting due to diet culture. So when I first started my intuitive eating food freedom journey, one of the first foods that I had started eating again and bringing back into the home after years of restricting was like a big old bag of potato chips, just the classic potato chips. For years, I would not let them in the house. Like I would eat nacho chips or whole grain chips, and for some reason I thought they were healthier, along with chips sometimes that were healthified, like the ones that are made with beans and cauliflower. But actual potato chips, for some reason, I thought I needed to stay as far away from them as possible because I had thought they were so bad for me and I had no willpower over them. And when I would get them during my dieting days, occasionally, I would literally end up eating the entire bag since I felt I will not be able to have them ever again because, they were bad. Then I would feel guilty for even getting them and get stomach pains. I thought I had no willpower and always caved in because of my lack of, quote unquote, willpower, and then not eat them for months at a time before I would get them again, only to go through the same cycle. So when I did let them back in my home more often than I was when I was dieting, my mind and body somehow felt that this can happen again. So of course I would end up eating the whole bag at the beginning. Instead of feeling guilty this time around, and what I now know about intuitive eating, I let them back in the house over and over and over again until the allure of potato chips diminished into almost non-existent. So this is also known as habituation. And like I said, you can replace potato chips with whatever food you have been avoiding and wanting to try bring back into the home. Now, I am sure those in the beginning stages of intuitive eating who are figuring this out is going through the same thing. And I want to let you know that this is normal. You are still learning to trust your body after years of dieting, after years of restriction, after years of labeling foods as good and bad. And this is not an overnight thing. Every individual is different. But it took me an awful long time to get to where I am now. Having potato chips, knowing I can have them anytime. When this happens, though, it is truly magic. I, even myself, couldn't believe it. Now, I want to say that for some, this can be a very scary thing to do. And I want to remind you to just keep feeling safe in mind when trying to bring foods back. So you can maybe, in this case, buy one of those tiny bags of chips. Like in this case, if it was potato chips that you're trying to bring more back in the home, buy one of those little tiny bags of chips, or also add a safe food to a small amount of chips at first and go from there. And you do not have to bring all forbidden foods in the house all at the same time because that can get overwhelming. So just start off with one food that you've been avoiding all these years and trying to bring back into the home. Like I said, this would work for any foods that you have put on a pedestal for a long time that you felt was forbidden to eat. Once you knock that food off its pedestal and you have it more often, no longer will it have that much power over you. It really does work. It could take time though. Just give yourself compassion and get curious if you do end up at the beginning overeating, that said food, such as potato chips. And just the more often you have it in the house, the more you are going to realize that you can have it at any time. Your body's going to say, okay, these chips are always coming to the house. I don't need to overeat them because I know I can have them anytime. So, well, that is it from me. When you want to work on things like habituation and other facets of having a better relationship with food and want to go deeper, I am ready when you are. I do have a one-to-one private coaching program. I will add the link in my show notes to the details of my one-to-one private coaching program and also a link to apply. So go ahead and apply, and I will then respond back to you and we can go from there. And as always, please leave a review, share this episode and podcast with others that you feel would benefit. This will help get the word out more about this podcast and the messages that go along with it. I think they're very important messages. So the more reviews that come in, the more you share this podcast, the more you share this podcast episode, the more Apple will see it as, a more popular, demanding podcast with pretty powerful messages when we are sharing it with others and reviewing it. So it would be very, very appreciative if you do that. And thank you for listening, and I will chat with you on the next episode.